So the next 2 to 8 weeks is going to be your head start. That's not hyperbole. You have about 2 to 8 weeks, depending on where you are in this country. And by then, there will be boots on the ground, movement will be restricted, curfews enforced, sun going down earlier, and the weather getting colder. So if there's any chance of being prepared, it's between now and probably the end of October.
Within the next 2 to 4 weeks, if you live in a large city or a state capital, National Guard is most likely going to roll out into your city, setting up the infrastructure for ICE agents as well as DHS and other federal law enforcement that is being surged, trained, and recruited right now for their actual rollout of going door to door throughout the entire United States. Now, what you can do, this is already baked in, there's no stopping that, but about 8 weeks plus, we're going to be looking at the actual full scale of this rollout. And what we're really preparing for is most likely the shot that's going to be heard around the world. It's some crisis, whether invented as a false flag, some psychotic ramblings, and maybe even a concerted effort. All it takes is one stray bullet hitting somebody that's a federalized law enforcement officer for them to be able to roll out the Insurrection Act and do it full-scale, legitimate martial law style. That's what you're actually planning for. Everything else is cooked in, baked in, and you should be ready. But we are looking at being at 11:59 on the doomsday clock that is the fall of the United States.
There's new data coming out this week. It shows a potential financial crisis in the making among American farmers. According to the University of Arkansas, from April of last year to March, more than 250 farms have filed for Chapter 12 farm bankruptcy. That's a huge number. University economists say bankruptcy filings in the first quarter of this year, they've already exceeded last year's total.
Well, the writing's on the wall. We all know that the goal of this is to isolate us and to make it harder to afford things, make it harder for us to get care, make it harder for us to afford the things we need. So I've seen others, and I am going to reiterate, you know I have a huge garden, you know I preserve, and I do a lot of things to supplement my home so that those costs aren't hurting me so much. The question I have for all of you, what are you doing to prepare? Because obviously we're going to have pain for a while. And to minimize your suffering, I hope you are doing efforts to prepare yourself for this. You know, I have stocked up on certain things. I buy extras every time I go to the store for certain items, things that have shelf life or can be frozen and can last for a while. I don't buy a lot of produce because obviously I grow it. But, you know, I know it's really late in our season for the north for you to even think about a garden. Hopefully you did so earlier when we were saying that there was going to be problems. We said shortages, but a lot of times we mean shortages because you can't afford it. I know, I've had a couple of people say, are you growing for an army? The answer is I'm growing for a year. I'm not growing for an army. I'm preparing myself for a year. I have canned things that will last until next growing season. So I have a lot of that covered, you know, for until the next season. I'm less reliant on the system, and a lot of us are saying we're not going to buy because we don't want to support those people that are complicit. That's what we really should be doing, is preparing ahead before they start raising all those prices, because those prices are starting to go up already, and it's just going to get worse. The stock market doesn't seem to reflect how the average consumer is doing. It continues to stay high, even though the rest of us are suffering. So I hope you are preparing. That's just a general commentary from me to you. I hope you are preparing. I saw the writing on the wall. Many others saw the writing on the wall. I hope you have prepared.